Alright everyone, welcome back to the Elbis and Elbis World Class Podcast. I'm joined here with Elbis.
Alright, pal.
And this week it's episode 4. Looking back at last week.
Well, if I think about it, I'm both delighted and disappointed.
I'd agree.
In equal measure.
Yeah. Me and Elbis, we've both had a sit down, looked at the stats of last week.
I think we start with the delighted, really. I think.
We'll start on a positive.
In terms of the podcast itself, I think that it was.
Oh, it was genius.
Near perfection, I would call it.
Yeah, I would.
Very near perfection.
Yeah, I would. I think it's hard to follow up from that. However, if there's going to be.
Look at what people got in last week's, I'd like to say. I mean, they got, first of all, Jack the Ripper solved.
Yeah, they did, yeah. We actually solved a case.
Yeah. The greatest unsolved case of all time. Yeah, solved.
Anyway, just go on, because I don't want to get too mad.
Second of all, there was SharkFace, which was an action-packed episode.
And it wasn't just any SharkFace, it was action-packed, as you say.
And then third, I invented the greatest film rating system of all time, the most accurate.
And I'd say better than bloody Rotten Tomatoes, because it's crap.
And now, I'll go on to my disappointment, and my big disappointment was the listeners.
And you know what my biggest disappointment was?
What?
The listeners.
Yeah. Now,
honestly,
when we launched the video, and we never listened to it first. It wasn't a video, was it? Well, published it basically. It went on YouTube and.
We uploaded it on YouTube. So if you haven't listened on YouTube, go check it out.
Yeah, go check it out. Yeah. Well. We didn't listen to it, did we? We never do. That's kind of a rule with the Elbis and Elbis World Class podcast. We just publish.
Well, we don't listen to it until we've published it, and then we listen to it after. And quite a few times.
Genuinely, it went viral.
Oh yeah,
in the first hour, it went viral.
It did, yeah. When we're talking viral, we're talking
triple figures here.
Yeah,
triple figures within the first hour.
Yeah.
But the thing that disappointed me, no subscriptions.
I don't know what that's about.
Well, I've been thinking about it. And
go on.
The only thing I can conclude with it is it's like, do you remember in like the 70s? You weren't, well, you know, but in the 70s and like blokes and that, they used to wear like flares and stuff, didn't they?
Yeah, something like that.
And well, there'll have been a point, you know, just before flares come out, when the blokes was thinking to themselves, wouldn't mind some of them flares.
Oh, yeah.
But they wouldn't want to be the first person going down the pub in them, would they?
That's true.
Do you see?
I know where you're going there. Yeah.
And so what I'm thinking is, we're getting the hundreds of listeners, but they don't want to be the first person to subscribe in case their mates say, "What's this?" Because this is so different what we're doing. It's like a change in fashion.
Yeah. I agree.
Until now,
I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah. Until now, podcasts have had interesting guests, subject matter.
Well, what I'd say is, if you aren't subscribed, what are you doing?
Production value.
What are you doing?
Things like that. And now this is the future of podcasting.
Yeah.
This is the fashion change. And the people who wouldn't be the first person in the pub to wear flares, they're just followers because they're waiting for somebody else, you know, to come in. And we don't need followers like that, do we? We need subscribers.
Yeah.
Not that we're even bothered anywhere.
No, I ain't bothered.
But it's just unusual.
Not bothered. Yeah, I just don't see why people are watching. And I will comment on the average view time.
Oh yeah.
Which about 30, what was it?
No, it was 40 seconds, and the opening tune lasts 39.
Yeah, so what's that about?
I don't know.
Actually, I think that's because I kept clicking on it to see.
Maybe.
Because the thing is, it went that viral. I just kept clicking on it to see what.
But let's not focus on the negative today.
Yeah.
Positive podcast. Yeah. And something positive did come out of it. I had some feedback from a fan. He listened to episode 1, not last week's. Yeah. But he was so inspired. He's gone off and he's decided to do his own podcast.
Yeah. And
so that's good.
And you know what? That really, it makes it for me, because knowing what we're doing now is inspiring other people to do what we're doing. Is it going to be as good? Of course it ain't.
But if you aim for the best and you fall short, which you inevitably will, then maybe you haven't done too well.
And what you've just said there, in a way, about the flares in the pub. Now, a lot of people won't want to be the first people to wear the flares in the pub.
No.
But we've sort of stormed in the pub.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And we're wearing flares.
Yeah.
Now, we're inspiring other people to do that. Yeah. We're inspiring other people to, and we've already inspired one person to do it, which is fantastic. And good luck to them. So. Yeah, what's been going on anyway? Out been going on this week?
No, that's it. I've just been so furious about that all week, really.
Yeah.
I don't know what else.
Yeah. I went to York this week.
Oh yeah.
It's alright.
Yeah, I've been there. It is alright.
So like a wander about and that, and that was it really.
Good. Should we go to the first?
Let's go for it. Have you got the?
Oh
yeah, get that sorted. And just going back to last week for a moment. What I will say is, even though I was a bit annoyed about like subscribers and that, I will say, fair play to all you lot. You like listening and that.
Yeah.
So cheers for that. But just make sure you listen more. And what I will say, actually, I wanted to remember to say this because I haven't really been promoting it on the podcast. Is if you haven't, go check out the Elbis and Elbis world class Twitter account. Just go search that in on Twitter, Elbis and Elbis, at Elbis and Elbis, and it should come up, and you'll get an alert every time a new episode comes out.
Oh, you could send us an email.
You can send us an email at the Elbis and Elbis world class email at gmail.com.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you've got any queries or questions, send it to the email. And also follow us on Twitter. But going into the first segment, it's a bit of time for
Dream or Vision.
Yeah. Dream or Vision.
Don't you wonder sometimes if it's a dream or a vision?
The jingle there, world class as ever. Starting off with Dream or Vision. Who do you want to start? You can go first if you want.
Well, I've got to be honest. I think that, my last two Dream or Visions have been really
They've been alright.
Revolutionary. And I've got to be honest, I think I've used up a lot of my psychic powers. So, I think actually we should just start because there has been some news, hasn't there? You said. With regards to, you did a bit of research about last week's.
A continuation in a way from the last episode. Obviously, that if you haven't seen listened to last episode, what you're doing, pause this now, go listen to it.
Oh, definitely. You need to listen to it in its entirety. We solved Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
We're not going to go through it all again now. Listen to the last episode and you'll see.
But after last episode, obviously, it was new to me that Elbis had this vision about Jack the Ripper. So after we filmed the last episode, I thought I'm going to do a bit of research.
I'm pleased you did.
So I did a little bit of research about
well, I think the bit of research.
Who was the guy who was Jack the Ripper in that?
It was Lord Randolph Churchill.
That's him, yeah.
He orchestrated.
So in other words, it's Winston Churchill's dad.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So what I thought was...
Well, remember at the beginning of the dream, I was in a 1980s
that was it,
Austin Rover. I said 1880s Austin Rover, but that didn't exist.
1980s Austin Rover. So I thought, well, the only way someone could... it could be a car that... You wasn't sure about the 80s though, was you? You said it could have been 70s. You said.
It could have been. Yeah, it could have been. Yeah.
So I thought if it's going to be anyone's Austin Rover, it must be Winston Churchill's.
I see.
So what I did was, and I'll do it now.
Go on then. It's always good. A bit of live googling.
I typed in Austin Rover, Winston, and I bet you can guess what the next thing I'm going to type in is Churchill. Not with a hashtag.
No, hashtag.
So you search that, straight away things are coming up. First thing I'm seeing here, Winston Churchill Land Rover. Don't want that.
That ain't the same.
But if you go on the second link here, now this is where it gets interesting. So I had a little bit of read of this article here, and the article is on yummy classic cars.
Don't matter about that. Just give them the basic facts.
All right. And basically, what he's saying here is that when Winston Churchill was appointed as Prime Minister, or whatever he was, the Cabinet ordered 6 Austin cars.
Weird, isn't it?
That's weird.
And just to clarify, I don't know anything about cars.
No.
I struggle to identify cars, and so it was weird how that was.
It was weird how you knew it was an Austin Rover.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, it's an Austin, that's pretty weird, but it's not an Austin Rover. So I thought, hang on a minute, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go on images, and I'll take the Winston part out and type in Austin Rover Churchill, because obviously we figured that it was his dad, not Winston Churchill. So we'll just type in Churchill and see what comes up. This is where it gets weird. Straight away on images, Austin Rover Churchill, special tools. Now, a booklet comes up, VL Churchill. It's a special tool used in an Austin Rover.
Weird, isn't it? So there was a special tool called a Churchill that was used in an Austin Rover car, which is exactly what I did.
Exactly the same car you was in the dream.
I think that if you analyse that vision I had last week, I think if you analysed every part of it, if people can, they probably will do in years to come, analyse every bit of it. And I think that every bit of it, as in the bridge, as in the office, as in the land, every bit of it will fit in.
It will,
but it's conclusive. I mean, your research has done it.
Yeah.
So I mean, that is.
So basically, from last week, confirmed Jack the Ripper.
But because I I've used all my psychic powers now, and I haven't really had any dreams or visions. I haven't slept, to be quite honest, this week.
Well, how can you when you've discovered something?
Well, I know. Yeah, that's it. I thought I might just tell you, because you remember I mentioned about the native Australian lady who told me about if I want to communicate with dream time,
she was
take some honey before I go to bed.
Yeah.
I'll tell you really quickly, and I'll give you a real quick overview of what that experience was.
Go on then.
Now,
so is this your dream or vision then?
Yeah, this will do.
Go on.
So anyway, I heard this. It was in one of my journals actually, and so I got the honey out, took it just before I went to bed. Go to bed. Now, even the process of falling asleep was different. I knew something weird was going on.
Right.
It was more, rather than going to sleep, I was becoming more awake. Right. If that sounds right. Now, I've had it before. I've had the same, and I've had these experiences before. I will say that, because do you remember when I was a Buddhist that day?
Oh yeah, I remember.
And I got real into like meditating. I had sort of experiences like this before.
Yeah.
But in any case, as soon as I was sort of gone, I was in this. I just got transported to this place, and it was night time when I arrived, and it was like we had guns. But they weren't real guns. It was like paintballing or laser quest or something.
Right,
it was like all playing this big game. There was loads of people running around. Right laugh I was having. I knew every single person there.
Sounds pretty decent, man.
And some of them people from this, I'm starting to call them realms now, rather than reality and stuff. From this realm.
Community?
No, realms are much better word. I'm on about like where we are now. You'd call it reality. I'm starting to call them different realms.
Right, okay.
And so I was there, and I knew everybody. Some people I knew the faces, some people I didn't, but I knew them.
Yeah.
Like I'd known them for years. So I was doing that, then it sort of went on. I was in a car again, so that was weird, but it wasn't Austin Rover.
Right.
But when I'm in these, I have these experiences. I like to feel around and make sure I can feel things. And
wait, so you can actually feel?
Yeah, I do it on purpose. Yeah, I feel as much stuff as I can. And like I'll pat myself, while I'm in there, just to make sure that I'm like physically there. And when I was in the car, I was touching it, and I could feel the upholstery in the car, and I was registering. I was thinking, I'm really here. I'm definitely really here. And then it was like the next place we was like this lake, and it had what I can only describe, Easter Island, where it's got them heads.
Oh yeah.
It was like one of those, but suspended in midair above the lake, and all around the lake, it was beautiful. Had all little houses and little like cabins, and in all the cabins. I was just walking along, people was like, "All right, Elbis." I was going, "Oh yeah, all right, pal, what are you doing?" And I knew them, but I couldn't think who they were. I knew them.
Now, what I will say there is that sounds similar to my dream or vision in episode 2 when I talked about I made the film with Leo and I knew everyone, and everyone was like, "All right, Elbis."
I suppose.
And I knew them all.
Yeah.
But I didn't know
I will give you
how.
That. Yeah,
and that is similar. Similar. You've got to give me that.
And I rubbished that.
You did. So thanks for that.
I hold my hands up.
Yeah, and
my hands up for
there
that.
you go then.
However, so I was going along and having a real good day. And like I said to you in the last episode, I was there for about 3 days. because time wasn't the same. I was there for 3 days, and this is super quick because loads of stuff happened. And then I started to realise.
When you say you was there for 3 days, you don't actually mean like in
their time.
In their time,
here,
not our time.
A few hours, like sleep.
Just to make sure if anyone got confused or out.
And I started to become more like realise that I could control my surroundings a lot, and I had powers. So I'm sure you've done that thing, where you swim and you fly. You've done that in a dream. No. So you do like a swimming motion, but you take off.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. I was doing that. It was great. I wasn't real good at flying. Like I'm not real good at swimming. It was almost the same.
Actually, I do this thing where I jump real high in the air.
Oh right, yeah. Well, that'll be.
And I go miles.
Right, same sort.
Because I can't run. Like when you have a dream and you can't run.
Yeah.
Instead of that, I like jump and like fly.
Yeah. Well, I was swimming. I was doggy paddling.
So I figured out that.
And I was doing that. I wasn't real good at it, same as I was good at swimming. So I came back down. But I could move things with my eyes and all this, and it was real good. And I remember one bit in it, bizarrely, there was a big pile of toilet rolls, and they all fell down. And I just went, don't worry about it. Just put them back up, like with the power of my eyes. Okay. Real good. Anyhow, I had a house there. Real familiar. I've been there loads of times. This whole place was familiar.
What, the house where you said, I remember you mentioned that you had... Whenever you have like a dream or a vision at your mum.
It had element. No, it wasn't my mum's.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it was the same sort of thing. But this was a house that was mine, and it was pretty big. I had a big window, looked out onto the lovely lake. What I was on about.
Right.
And at the time I was there, my best mate was staying there with his wife, and they've got a baby who I hadn't met at the time. I had a chat with them, and I had a chat with the baby like it was a grown up. Now I've done that before.
Yeah, I remember
my niece.
Yeah.
When she was born, I had a chat with her. So what this has led me to the conclusion of is that this is some sort of a realm where we come from and we go back to, and I think the native Australians are right. We just dip into this reality. I know this is quite sort of deep for dream or vision. Well, that's what it's supposed to be, isn't it? Yeah. But then at the end of it, what happened was I was looking out at the lake, and it goes black and turns into like oil. And then it started swelling up and it turned into like a tidal wave and started coming towards us. And we was all in this sort of sitting room with a big window looking out on it. And everyone was panicking, and I was like, no problem, I've got my powers. And I just used my powers, and I was like Moses, and I parted the Black Sea in this case. Yeah, and it just went round us. And then that was it, basically. But I woke up and I thought, that's not a dream. It's not a vision.
It's a bit weird, isn't it?
That's an out-of-body experience where I went to a different realm. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Oh, it's something, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So
the whole point is you've got to take honey. Now I'm a bit mad with you because you said you'd take honey, and I mean most of your visions or dreams have been appalling. And
I don't know about that. I thought.
All right, you had a hit a minute ago. You had a bit of a hit a minute ago.
Yeah, 1 and 2 was great, and so was last week.
Not really. Last week was appalling.
It was weird.
And you promised you'd take the honey. Well, I got the honey out for you, left it out for you before you went, and you forgot it. I think you're scared.
I'm not scared.
I'll have it
tonight if you want.
You've had a drink tonight. What's the point? You've got to be clear-minded. Just take a spoonful of honey before you go to bed.
I'm not scared.
See what happens.
I'll do it whenever I want. Just won't feeling it or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. No, you could have done it any time I gave you the honey.
Yeah, but forgot it and that. Yeah. Anyway, do you want to get my dream and vision? Get it
out of the way, you mean?
What do you mean get out of the way? My dream or vision, actually, pretty interesting. I had it last night.
All right.
So it's pretty fresh, this dream. Now, in a way, I woke up this morning and I sort of sensed... The first thing that was on my mind was this podcast. And Elbis and Elbis. Not as us as people, but us as a brand. I felt like... the weather currently, there's a bit of a storm, the winds are quite, like... fast and that, whatever it is. They're about 40 mile an hour or something. But it just seemed to me like I woke up with a feeling of change.
Alright.
Now, I had a dream last night, and where I was at my old primary school, right? And in the assembly hall, and you can't, I know I was there because It was exactly the same assembly hall, but it was filled with people. But it was like everyone. I knew, a bit like what you said in yours. I knew them all. I knew everyone.
And did you know the faces? Or
I knew it. I knew faces. It was people.
Yeah, you see, because
and it was friends. I knew it was friends. It was family. It was It was like a celebration. That's what it was. It was a celebration.
Well, I'm going to do a testing, man. You don't want to see people I know. From this round. I'm going to try and tell them something, get them to say it to me. For that's
it was a celebration, and there was like different a bit like a talent show, and there was like stuff on like that, there was like people performing and that, and it was like when people had performed and stuff like that, they all looked at me as if to say, did you enjoy that, everyone was looking at me as if, did you enjoy that, because it was like it was for me.
They were performing for you.
It was for me. So, and at the end they played Piano Man.
Well, you like that song,
now you? That's one of my favourite songs ever. Piano Man, it's amazing. I love that song. So they played that, and I remember getting.
So it was like a concert for you.
But it wasn't like.
Was the little kids like there was?
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
But now they're adults. If you know what I mean. They're grown up now, but there was as they were.
The thing is, there was little kids, and there was like people my age as well. But they didn't actually perform Piano Man. They just put it on, and everyone sang it. Like everyone sang it, but they was singing it. It wasn't just singing. They was singing it to me.
A lot of kids just singing it.
They were singing it to me. They were singing it to me.
All right, yeah.
And it was like I got real emotional, and I started like crying and that, and I was like, "This is an unbelievable moment." But it just felt like, in a way, it was like me saying goodbye to that part of my life, of all them,
I think you've got the hang of this dream or vision, like.
Honestly, it was like I was saying goodbye to that part of my life.
This is the most deep and serious dream or
vision. Yeah, it really is, and
when we conceived the idea,
people actually start taking this a bit seriously now.
This is what it was supposed to be.
That's the only way I could describe it. I got that emotional. It was like I was saying goodbye to a part of my life where it was changed. Something was about to change, and just the whole thing about it was like.
Tell you what, mate. For the first time, I might go a vision on this one.
I think it could be. And that's why I said to you today. I came here today, and I said, I don't know why, but I've just got this feeling we're going to be huge. We're going to very soon, very soon. We're going to be massive very soon. And I felt like that dream or vision. I mean, looks like it's a vision to me. It was like I was saying goodbye to a part of my life, and it was almost like a new chapter's opening. And I think this is what it is. I do. Because it's funny that I woke up and the first thing I had was Elbis and Elbis. And so did you. So.
Well, yeah. It is a bit weird, isn't it?
What about that for a dream or a vision?
Well, I hope it's a vision in that case. Do we earn a load of money or like.
What do you mean? What?
Well, I mean, I know you didn't really have the dream of this vision, but.
Well, all I can say is we're going to be popular. We're going to be popular. I mean, I've got a full school. Singing to me.
Yeah.
Piano Man. And they know I like Piano Man, so they know me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think...
it's weird, actually, now everyone on the podcast knows I like Piano Man.
Oh, yeah, so they'll be sending you...
So, you never know. Links to it. They'll be like, everyone sing Piano Man.
No, I'm pleasantly surprised with that, though. I'm pleasantly surprised with your dream or vision. I mean, I'm not sure of, whether this is going to be the catalyst to make you a superstar or not, but...
I think it is. I don't really do anything else. So.
I don't know. It's if these listeners get themselves in order, isn't it? Really.
Well, yeah. There you go. Subscribe. Make sure you do it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I think. Is that it for Dream or Vision? Or?
I think so. What about that for Dream or Vision?
Yeah.
Play the jingle.
Oh God. I always do this.
You haven't got it bloody ready.
I know. It's because you have to rewind it.
But to be fair to you, that was a monumental Dream or Vision.
It was a monumental Dream or Vision.
So
it was a landmark Dream or Vision.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
It wasn't ridiculous like it usually is. So that's good.
I don't think it's ridiculous.
Don't you wonder sometimes if it's a dream or a vision?
Well, everyone, that was Dream or Vision. Now it's time for the continuation of SharkFace, the fourth instalment, fourth chapter in the
the fourth episode
in the story of SharkFace. Obviously going down very well. Well, we think it is anyway.
Well, it is with us.
Yeah,
we're enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, last week, I believe we had our first actual attack.
We did. I mean, shall we give a brief summary? No, you can go back and listen.
Yeah, actually, yeah. If you haven't listened to SharkFace, pause this, go back, listen to it, come back to this for the next instalment. But yeah, last week
we had our first murder. Last week, it appears that we don't know yet what's going on. No. The spring break youngsters were at the island having a bit of fun. Pete Lancaster, he'd been asked to go back as a tour guide. He'd met some doctor who he's quite fond of, called Ashley.
She's all right.
You know, they're getting on really well.
Nice woman.
Yeah, she is a nice woman. Attractive as well, apparently.
That's what he says. Anyway.
And Johnny, nice kid,
he was all right.
Going to jump off the cliff, and he sort of tumbled down, and his face has been mangled.
Yeah.
And they've gone they're heading back to headquarters now.
Yeah.
Back to HQ. Now, this week's episode, it's a bit short, but it's action packed.
Not really the shortest we've done, but it's shorter than last week. But
action packed. There is
filled with action.
Now, we never really like to reveal the actors we've got in mind to play the roles, but there is one exception here.
I remember the first episode of this. I actually said, should we reveal who we had in mind for Pete Lancaster and stuff, but we never did, and we're not going to. But for this one time, we're going to reveal.
We're going to be introduced to a character called Rob, the boat driver.
Yeah.
And do you want to tell him who it is?
I'll tell him. The actor we had in mind, you can call him an actor if you want, is actually professional wrestler Rob Van Dam.
Or RVD.
Now,
the reason for this is because we watched a film once called Three-Headed Shark Attack.
Yeah.
Good film. Good film.
Yeah, it was.
Well, good film. Faulty premise, I'd say, because you would be more scared of three sharks than
what would you rather face? Three sharks or three-headed sharks?
Three-headed sharks, it's in one place.
Yeah, definitely.
Three sharks, one could be behind you, one could be here, and one could be
at the side of you. Definitely. Yeah.
But he played a boat driver in it, and it was a very impressive performance.
Outstanding performance.
It was, yeah. So if Rob Van Dam's listening,
it also actually reminded me of Margot Robbie's performance in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Refreshing performance. Yeah,
that's it.
Well, Rob, Mr. Van Dam, RVD, however you like to be addressed.
I'm pretty sure you're listening to it.
You've got the email address, Elbis and Elbis World Class Email at gmail.com. Send us an email or something, and we'll let you in on, because we're getting $1 million each for this. So we'll get you a good night out. Let's just say.
Yeah, we'll get you involved.
Anyway, do you want to introduce the next thing?
Well, everyone, I know you're all on the edge of your seat. I know I am. But here we go. It's the continuation, ladies and gentlemen, of SharkFace.
Darkness falls as base camp approaches. Rob, the boat driver,
RVD,
throws aside his fine Cuban cigar and rinses rum around his mouth before expressing his surprise at the group's early return. Ashley speeds ahead of the group, placing her hands on Rob's shoulders.
You gotta get us out of here, now!
As an experienced seaman, Rob explains the dangers of leaving the shore at such an hour, alerting Ashley to a nasty-looking black cloud on the horizon.
If we leave now, we're signing our own death warrants. We camp down here for the night and set sail at dawn. You got that?
Ashley entrusts the care of Alex with Amber, then wanders over to Pete. Pete begins to open up about his brother and the devastating effects of that night years ago. Ashley places her arms around Pete and snuggles her head into his chest. Both shut their eyes and an unexpected calm fills the air. Riley approaches Alex and Amber with a small yet inappropriate grin on his face. Having long coveted the affections of Alex, he sees his window of opportunity.
Look on the bright side, Alex. At least now you got a chance to be with a real man.
Riley squirms. As Alex holds back the tears, Amber angrily leaps to her defence.
She's just lost her boyfriend, you jerk! Johnny was twice the man you'll ever be.
Riley pushes Amber to the floor.
I'm getting out of this dump. Go to hell.
He walks off into the night, mumbling obscenities under his breath.
Yeah.
By the shore, an inebriated Rob snores loudly. A crouching Riley appears from the undergrowth. Moving with cat-like stealth, he inspects the sleeping boat driver's pockets. Finding a large bunch of keys, he nods arrogantly, making his way towards the anchored sea vessel. He climbs aboard and starts the engine. Turning back to the sand, he shouts,
"See you later, suckers! Hope you all become fish food! Woo!"
The boat tears off into the distance. The wind blows through Riley's hair. The salty air tastes of freedom. Chuckling at his own success, he turns behind to see the island fading into the distance. He looks down, and by his feet stands a large cool box.
Maybe having a booze-hound boat driver ain't so bad after all,
says Riley. He flips open the box and fumbles inside, whilst keeping an eye on the expanded ocean in front of him. Expecting to find a cool frosted beverage, he is surprised when his hand meets a smooth yet scaly skin-like structure.
What the?
He stumbles, falling backwards, dragging himself away from the cooler and its mysterious contents. The lid flips off. A tall, dark figure slowly emerges before him. A cold terror fills the air as the moonlight catches huge razor-sharp white teeth.
No! 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 Well, everyone, that was SharkFace, the fourth instalment into the chapter of SharkFace, and to be honest, I'm hooked at this moment in time.
I'm hooked as well.
I just can't wait to see how it's going to end. Really,
it was an amazing episode.
I mean, if for the people listening along, who is listening to SharkFace and that, how do you think it's going to end? Leave your comments down below. Let us know.
You will never guess. You will never guess.
If anyone guesses it, then
get a prize.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you'll get some Elbis and Elbis world class merch. Yeah. So there's a lot of competition for you. But yeah, now it's time for film of the week. So Elbis, do you want to go first or me?
Well, I've not really watched any films this week.
Oh, so you got a series then? Or?
No, I've not watched any television, to be quite honest, or anything on the television. I have, but the ones that I've watched would probably make a pretty boring review, if I'm honest.
All right. Well, what you got then?
Well, like earlier on, about dream or vision and stuff, I was quite philosophical.
Yeah.
I actually read some in my journals this week, and so I don't know whether we can call it film or series of the week plus some philosophy that you've read.
So let me.
Is it all possible?
You haven't actually got a film to review?
No.
So this isn't going to be a review?
No, sorry. I know it's not the best preparedness, but I think you'll like this. It's more of a story or...
Is preparedness a word, or...?
Don't know. But, listen to this. Remember what I was saying earlier about going to that place where I think everybody came from?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's as if I'd been there before. I was chatting to me.
I mean, if you're wondering what's going on, basically, Elbis ain't got a film. So you just talk
supposed to be films, but I'm thinking I'm expanding out now to literature and philosophy.
Right.
So film or series or philosophy or literature of the week.
He does what he wants.
Yeah. Do what I want.
He does what he wants.
Well, what's the point? There's no point in me
That's true. I mean, I'd rather you do this.
Yeah.
An insightful, philosophical explanation of your dream.
Now, what you've got to bear in mind, what you've got to permanently bear in mind with this is what I was saying about the place I go to. in my visions stroke out-body experiences, right?
Right.
Now, the thing I'm going to review, and it's not really a review, what I'm going to tell you about is the allegory of the cave, I think it's called, and it's by Plato. You ever heard of him?
Plato?
Plato. Are you a philosopher? I thought he was a philosopher.
Oh, Plato.
Plato, the philosopher, yeah. And Socrates. Yeah. I think he had something to do with it as well. Now, what it was is he did a thought experiment, and I want all the fans to think about this, right? Bearing in mind what we said earlier. A thought experiment that there was this bloke who was born, and all of his life he was in a cave, right? And he was chained, shackled, is how Plato put it.
Oh,
to the wall.
What, was he like a prisoner or something?
Well, it's a thought experiment, so those details don't come into it really. It's like, imagine there was a bloke. Or
so this lad didn't exist then?
No, it's a thought experiment. So he was in a cave, right? And he was in a cave and he was looking at the wall, the opposite wall of the cave. Right. And he couldn't see the entrance stroke exit, which was the entrance to the cave, basically. Round the corner.
Yeah.
And he couldn't see that. And he was there since he was a baby. And so he grew up in this situation. And all he could see is during the day, there'd be shadows passing and the shadows would be projected onto the wall.
Right.
Now, that became his reality. And so what it was is that he gave names to the shadows. He built up stories in his own mind about the shadows. That was all he saw all day, every day. And he was happy because that's all he knew. That's all he knew.
Right.
Right. And then one day he woke up.
How old was he?
I reckon about... What do you mean when he woke up?
No, like when he was first...
Born. Born there.
He was born with shackled on?
Yeah. No, well, yeah. Yeah, apparently. Well, I don't know whether when he was a baby because he couldn't walk, but since he can remember, he's always had shackles on. He could not move from this spot that he was in.
Oh, don't get that.
Yeah, well...
Anyway,
it's a thought experiment.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, he was looking at this wall and he could see the light shining in. And the shadows projected. As I say, that became his entire reality. And then one day he woke up, let's say it's his 40th birthday or something. And he woke up and he looked down at his hands and he's like, what's this? No shackles, no chains, no anything. So he was free to go. Right? And then this is, as I say, this is like the story.
But who's locked him up though?
Well, we don't know. We don't know. Somebody has.
Is this a film?
No, this is a thought experiment by Plato, the Greek philosopher, in something like 2000 BC.
Right.
It'll make sense at the end. I know you're looking at me now a bit weird, but this will make sense.
Go on.
And then anyways, looked at these shadows all his life. That's his reality. He's made stories about it. And then he edges his way around and he gets out the cave and he looks out the cave and he turns and he looks left, looks right, looks up, looks down. And he's like, what's going on here?
I bet he runs. Does he run back in?
Well, listen to this. He sees people. He sees animals. He sees the sky. He sees the sun. He sees the grass. He sees the trees. He sees colours.
So he can start his life now?
No, he can't. Because his reality is the shadows on the wall. And he doesn't understand it. He can't process it. His senses can't process it. And he's like, God, get me out of here. And he runs straight back in the cave, sits against the wall and looks at the shadows again all day. Now, what do you think I'm trying to say to you with that?
I think you're trying to like, is it like a point on everyone's reality is different? Like my reality could be different to yours.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. I suppose that wasn't what I was expecting you to say. I'm more on about this place I go to, you know, when I have the visions and I go to the lake with the like head above it and stuff like that, the Easter Island head, and I'm real familiar with it. I feel as if I go there and it's somewhere that everybody goes. And I feel as if you can see the true reality of life and you stick your head out of the cave and have a look around, you think, oh God, I'm going back in. Whereas when I go there,
so like
I'm
people
sort of training myself.
So what you're saying is like...
I've carried dream or vision over here, haven't I? But never mind.
People can see the dream world. People can achieve, like... A dream world is possible, but it's about...
But you're too
coming
scared.
out of the cave,
yeah, you're too scared.
and staying out of the cave rather than running back into it. That's
correct.
The message.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Right, okay. That's interesting. Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
It is interesting. I know it's not a film of the week.
Not a film.
No,
it's
but
supposed to be film of the week.
Like I had nothing else. So why not do that?
Well, I mean, I just sort of think, film.
You
want to go at me last week for not having a film.
No, I didn't. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah.
And I went away, and I sort of corrected myself by watching a few films, and I just felt like not only me, but I feel like the audience have been let down a bit by that.
I don't think they have. Really think about it. Really think about what I'm saying.
I suppose it's an interesting philosophical point
and let's introduce that. Let's just put stuff you've seen. Let's call it, instead of film of the week, because I'm getting a bit sick of films. Most of them are crap. Most of them make a good premise.
But you don't respect actors either.
Well, no, and that's true. That is true. And I know I invented the system.
Yeah.
It is a brilliant system.
Yeah, it's good.
But, I mean, we can't use the system on that, can we?
I doubt.
Well, no, we can't.
I doubt no one's doing it.
What I mean is, I'm getting a bit sick of films, so I'm thinking we should expand our audience's minds by including knowledge.
I think there's definitely knowledge there, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I enjoy my films. You enjoy your films. Obviously not at the moment.
No, I'm not. I'm not enjoying them at the moment.
Well, maybe, yeah. All right, then. Maybe...
Yours is a...
I think you should at least try and find the film.
Well, I can't find one now, can I? Because it's started.
Yeah.
I might try and find one for next
week. All right. I'll tell you what. We'll let you off this week.
Leave a comment. Not that anybody would, but if you want to, leave a comment.
If you can, leave a comment and say, would you rather a film of the week or a philosophy
or
extension?
Or a classic piece of literature. Recited in Latin, which I don't mind doing.
Would you rather that or a film of the week? I mean...
Have you watched a film then? Go on.
I've watched a couple because, I thought the disappointment of last week didn't have a film. Thought, oh yeah.
Well, to be fair, I'm carrying Dream or Vision at the moment. So, I mean, it's only fair you carry one segment.
What do you mean you're carrying it?
Well, because yours generally, except this week, have been rubbish, and I'll give you this week's. I'll give you this week's.
Well, I would think if on the first week, I actually had a review from a listener of the first week.
When?
Well, I didn't tell you about this. I had a review from the first week for My Dream or Vision, and they said it was very interesting, actually. It was a very interesting point.
Yeah. Not the listener we're trying to
the second episode, which you said was crap, My Dream or Vision.
It was.
You actually just admitted in the Dream or Vision segment this episode, you said, when I said, it's similar like how I knew everyone in that. And he was like, oh yeah, I'll give you that.
Maybe I should just do Dream or Vision.
And then three was interesting, and then this one was good. So, I don't know what you're saying that for. Anyway, film of the week. I've watched a film, a couple. This week I watched an interesting one.
I spent time reading literature.
This week I watched an interesting one, though. I watched The Invisble Man.
Oh, good film, actually.
Yeah, but not the 1933 version.
Oh, well.
I watched the 2020 version, the most recent.
2020?
Yeah, it came out this year.
Did it really?
It did, yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I mean, you forget really how
long this year's been.
Yeah, to be honest. I mean, there's so many stuff going on. But, yeah, what was that about? Oh, yeah, Invisible Man, that came out. So I watched that this week. Pretty good, yeah. I actually really enjoyed it. I was quite impressed with it. I thought it was done very clever. Does that make sense?
Cleverly.
It was done very cleverly in the fact that the way it was shot, it was like the man in it, who was the Invisible Man, you didn't know. He could have been...
Who was it?
It was just his kid. I don't know who it was. But actually, I should say before I get into that, is that the woman in it, the main character, they changed the story of the original one, so the woman in it is getting abused by her husband.
Oh, I see.
So she's like getting away from him.
Wasn't she in the original?
So it opens up anyway. She's like running off, and she runs off. She gets her sister to pick her up in a car, and like she's like, oh, you know, thanks for coming and that. And the sister's like, oh, you know, get in. What's the problem? And that she's like, oh, I can't tell you now. I'll just drive. Anyway, with that, you're thinking, oh, she's all right. No, she ain't.
Sister.
No, no. I mean, like the.
Oh, I thought you meant like attractive.
No. I mean, like the woman, like in the car.
Everyone attractive?
They're alright, I suppose.
I have seen it, but I can't remember.
Anyway,
that's unlikely.
They're in the car and that, and you know, you think, oh, she's all right now. You know, she's away. She's got away.
Physically safe, you mean?
Turns out she ain't, because the husband comes running out the bushes, puts his arm through the car window, and he's like, you know, you'll never escape.
Invisible or not?
No, you can see him. You'll never escape. You know, you won't get away from me. And so she's like, oh no. So anyway, they drive off, manage to get away, and where did they go? She goes back to she goes to a mate who's a cop. He's got a daughter.
Oh yeah.
And she's like real scared to go out at first. Yeah, she's real scared to go out at first, and like these strange things keeps happening to her. She gets real paranoid, and she's like, you know, he's doing stuff to me. You know, he's like, he's not here, but he's here, and it's real weird. And they're all like, "Yo, what you want about? You know, what's going on?" And she's she's the only thing that's experiencing it. And then she reckons, "Hang on a minute."
What, like he's like moving around and all that?
Yeah, and like she sees like footprints on the carpet and stuff.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know how he's done it, but he's somehow found a way to become invisible, because he's like, you know, he's quite rich, her husband, and he's got quite a lot of technology and that. I don't know what he does, but he does something in that field. Anyway, she's like, he's figured out, he's a genius. You know what he's like? He's a genius. He's figured out a way to be invisible, and they're like, don't be stupid.
I would lay a flower all around the house, right?
Well, it's similar
and
to
unless he brings a Hoover with him, then as soon as he does something and you see the footprints come in, shop
then
him.
Again, the Hoover wouldn't be invisible though, would it? So you could actually see him using the Hoover then, even if he did bring a Hoover. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if he held the Hoover,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You'd be able to see him anyway.
So that's stopping them, wouldn't it? Ultimately,
yeah, basically,
flower all over the place.
But
crap film then.
Well, would you like to live with flour all over your house?
No, and I've seen the film and it is good.
Yeah, and I mean it's similar to a scene where she puts like this powder down or something. I think it's like coffee powder or something.
Right.
Puts all that down all over the floor, and like she sits in a room all day and waits for something to happen, and now it does. And then eventually something happens. But like hours later. But anyway, yeah, what was it about? She's like, oh, he's figured out a way to be invisible or something. And she goes to a lawyer and who's his brother, and she's like, "Oh, he's still, you know, doing stuff to me and that." And he's like, "Ian, he's dead." She's like, "Hang on a minute, what you on about?" He's like, "He's dead. He's dead. I've seen him dead. He's got photos. He shows me a photo and he's dead."
The brother did.
Yeah, he shows her a photo and he's like dead and that, and she's like, "Oh God, all right." And he's like, "Oh, you've got loads of money now. He's left you loads of money."
Sweet.
So she takes the money and that, and like gives a bit to her mate's daughter who was like going to school.
I remember that bit.
And anyway, these things keep happening, and then she's convinced. She's like, "Oh, he's still alive. He's still alive." And she goes to her sister and he's like, "He's still alive." And she's like, "Don't be stupid, Ian." It's like, "Oh, right." So anyway, she goes back, and then she goes in like she thinks, "Oh, I know what I'm gonna do," because these things keep happening. She goes, "I'll ring his phone."
Oh yeah.
Rings his phone. It's up in the loft. She hears a noise from the loft.
So
she goes
left
upstairs.
there.
Well, he's obviously there.
What, when he's alive?
No, he's dead. He's supposedly dead. But his phone's in the loft.
So his phone's in the loft. He's alive.
Yeah. No, he's dead. But his phone's in the loft. What's that about?
Why did you leave it there?
Exactly. That's what I thought.
So where's he? Is he in the loft?
Well, he's just in the house somewhere, but he's invisible, isn't he?
Oh, right.
But his phone's in the loft, so it confirms that he is there. Do you know what I mean?
Or he has been there.
Yeah. And so she goes up in the loft and she gets his phone, and it's like, you know, what's going on here? What is going on? And then I think that's when a text comes through and it says,
should have like looked to who was ringing.
I think that's when a text comes through and it says surprise, and then something happens and like it attacks her.
He's done that on purpose, hasn't he?
Yeah. But then, oh no, she's like, she senses, you know, like how you get that sense where, like, if you're in a room and you think, like, something's in here.
Yeah.
Or, like, someone's watching or something. Like, she gets that, and she, like, thinks she thinks he's on the stairs.
I get the sense no one's listening.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I can detect that.
And she throws some paint on the stairs. He's on the stairs because all the paint's, like, outlined on him. Anyway, moves on a bit, and they have a bit of a fight in that. She runs off, gets picked up on a security camera, and you just see her running away from nothing. So it looks like she's just mental. So no one's believing her basically. So she goes to her sister. She's like, "I need you. I really need you in this situation." She's like, "All right then." Anyway, while she's at dinner with her sister, knife lifts up in the air.
Yeah.
And then slits her sister's throat, and then it goes into her hand. But obviously, she didn't do it. It was the Invisible Man doing it, and then put it into her hand, so it looks like she's done it.
No security cameras in the restaurant.
No, she gets.
Well, I would say I've been to a lot of modern bars.
Yeah, she gets arrested and that goes to a mental
point loss surely on the system.
Mental place, and she's like kept there
like
for a
Shutter
bit.
Island.
Not as bad as that, but a bit more modern. Anyway, she's at the mental place and that. These things keep happening. Finally, something happens where people actually see the Invisible Man, they believe her. Oh. And anyway, it turns out she unmasks him, because she like fights him and then like beats him, unmasks him. It's only his brother, who was the lawyer behind the mask.
Right. Oh, what?
She's like, she's like, what's going on there?
So
but then she's like, hang on.
Man, Joe, I've seen it.
Then she's like, oh, hang on, this isn't right. It is him. I know it's me. I know it's my husband. Anyway, it turns out her husband's alive, and he was held in the basement by his brother allegedly. So she goes for dinner. He's like, yeah, 1 second. Yeah, sorry about abusing you and that. We'll be all right now. Oh, I forgot to say she's pregnant as well.
Who is?
The woman.
Oh God.
Anyway, he's like, oh, can you need to stay with me for the baby and that, and she's like, before I stay with you.
What? Right,
like,
go on.
Before I stay with you, can you? I need the truth. Was it you who was like tormenting me and that? And he's like, no, it wasn't me. And she's like wired up because her mate's a cop, so he's like wired her up to get evidence and that. And he's like, oh no, it wasn't me.
So she's threatening to get rid of the baby.
And and he's like, oh no, it wasn't me. And if it was me, it would be a big surprise. Remember when she was in the loft and she looked at the phone, it said surprise with the text. That's how she knows.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to say as well, she finds out about a suit in her house.
How far have we got back in this film now?
In her house. Yeah. And there's 2 suits, so she hides one in her cupboard. Anyway,
you mean an invisible suit?
Yeah. She hides one in the cupboard. So she has dinner in that. If anyone's listening, fair play. I think
we should publish this as a segment, just on its own. She's reviewing this film.
She's on the
and you slagged me off going on about philosophy.
Well, you put me off. You didn't have a film, and it just put me off. And she's on the table and that, and she's like, she's crying. She says, I need to go clean myself up. She goes,
Is this 20
No, this is at the end. This is at the end. She goes, cleans herself up. Anyway, she gets her suit. She puts it on, kills him, slits his throat, and it sees on the security camera, he's picked up a knife and slit his throat and committed suicide. But she's done it with the invisible suit. She's put the knife in his hand and he slit his throat, and it looks like he committed suicide. Anyway, she's like, she like acts like she walks back into the room and acts like she's found him. So she rings the police and I found my husband.
Fast. She's got the knife in an invisible suit.
Yeah.
And cut his throat.
Yeah.
And then
she's like gone back out.
Yeah.
And then walked in as if she's just gone to the toilet and then come back. And she's found him. So she rings the ambulance or police or whatever. She's like, I found my husband. He's like committed suicide. He slit his own throat. There's a security camera that's picked it all up,
so
and it just looks like he's committed suicide.
Yeah.
Anyway, she goes out and her mate's there. Yeah, her mate's there. He's like, did you kill him? I need to know. He's like, he committed suicide. And he's like, he looks in her bag and he sees the invisible suit, so he knows that.
How does he see it?
Because it's like black and that, but it's like in the bag.
Oh, I thought you meant it's invisible.
No. But he's like,
sake of lose that.
So he knows she's killed her, and he's like,
lose that.
He looks at her and she goes, he killed himself, didn't he? And he's like, yeah. So in a way, she becomes what he was. Like, and
the hunter becomes hunted.
Yeah, because she's like, manipulating him. She's like manipulating him.
Yeah, and this is how it starts, isn't it? Because it's like she thinks she's done a bit of justice and that, but then like now somebody gets on her nerves, gets in front of her in the queue or something. She'll think, "Oh, I'll pop the suit on." Yeah, sort them out.
I thought it was good though.
It is a good film. I've seen it actually, but I couldn't remember it, so that's all right.
Well, I think it's a great film. I'd give if we'll go use the system to rate.
Oh yeah, use the system. So what would you say for the beginning?
I'd give it. It was really, you know what? It was really good, action packed. Started off quick. Started off you straight in it, dive straight into it. I'd give it 32 for the start. I think.
Yeah, really.
Out of 33.
That's as good a start as you can get.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe 1 point and maybe a floating point. Yeah. But yeah, so
I always say there's no perfect. There's never any perfect film. So maybe except from SharkFace.
Well, yeah.
So 32, I'll give it. Middle, really good. Actually, no. I'd give the start 30. I'd give the middle 32.
That's when the action got picked up.
Yeah, because it gets even better. And then maybe the ending, because I thought the ending was really good, but I'm gonna knock a few points off just because I guessed it.
And there was some technological problems with it.
Like the phone and stuff. Like, why has he got a phone when he's dead?
And there's some things I wanted.
Why would you take it to the house? And
would he cast the shadow? Because as I understand it, it was like a reflective technology. Yeah. So does that mean he would or he wouldn't? I don't know.
But I'd knock a few points off of that. So I'll say 29 for the end. So
I forgot what they are already.
30, 32, 62. Plus 29, 91.
That's a high score.
91, yeah. It was a great film, though, to be fair. I really enjoyed it.
That's a bloody high score. Let's have a look.
91.
Is that 91? Bosh! It's a great system.
What a system.
That is a great system.
Fantastic system.
That is a good system. And it's a good
That's
film.
how you do it.
It's a good film. And
now everyone's going on about this Rotten Tomatoes. You don't need that. Make your own system. Yeah. That is bang on, that. Bang on. Like, what a system. Brilliant. Brilliant system. And to be fair, I'm looking here, budget 7 million. Now that just shows now, I think, you don't need budget to create a masterclass.
3.7 million. And we're only asking $1 million each for.
And this is what I mean. Now with SharkFace, this film shows, to make a great film, you don't need all the money.
Nah.
And that's what we can do with SharkFace. To make that fantastic, it's not all about the money, it's about how it's written. And
to make it, we'd need about 70
the cinematography behind it. Yeah, I reckon so.
70 quid.
Yeah. Anyway, I've got another film, but I won't go into
well, you can do an honourable mention.
Yeah, I'd actually call it a dishonourable mention, to be honest, because I thought it was crap.
Oh, well, it goes down there with that.
It's called
actually, I must just say then, Invisble Man is the film of the series then. So
yeah.
So we'll go second dishonourable mention.
Well, yeah, I mean, what I'll say is the Invisble Man, I can't say the new Invisble Man's better than the original 1933 iconic.
Oh no, because that is an absolute classic.
Well, it's a master classic. Yeah, absolutely.
Bandages around his face. So invisible.
I'd never say it's as good as that.
That is genius.
But I would say it's no, I wouldn't say it's as good as that. It's a little bit worse than that, but it's still really good. So.
There's a film called Metropolis from 1920, which is worth watching.
Yeah.
Won't go into it, but it is.
Anyway, this film I watched, this Australian film it is. Oh, it's crap.
Did it have someone out of Neighbours or Home and Away?
Don't know, but actually it might have done. I recognise the woman in it from somewhere.
There's only 13 Australian actors I've found.
All right, well, I think she might be one of them. Then. But it's called Relic, and it's crap.
It's
anyway,
it's like Blair Witch Project.
No.
In it?
No.
What is it then?
It's like this like grandma was a bit weird. Some weird stuff happening to her. She's doing some weird stuff. And her mum's like...
witch?
No, she's just like doing some weird stuff. And her mum's like thinking she's going mental.
Oh, yeah.
Turns out it's like...
Remember, it's only an honourable mention.
Yeah.
No, dishonourable mention.
I didn't even... to be honest with you, I found it hard to explain because I just didn't get it. didn't understand what he was doing. Like, he started off slow, dialogue. It was just like it was just slow, and like there was a few scary bits in it. I'll give it that. It's an horror film, so I'll give it that. It was a few scary bits, but
sounds crap.
Just it was a bit crap, and I didn't really get it. So it turns out that the grandma's like a skin turns all black, and then the mother peels it all off, and then she's just like a black thing. I don't even know what it is.
I don't know. It sounds.
And then it turns out the woman's the same, and the daughter's the same.
What? They don't even know it.
Yeah, and it's crap. And I'd give the star 12 out of 33.
Well, that's quite high.
Out of 33.
I gave a few films.
Well, I'd give it. All right, I'll give it 8 then.
Yeah, all right, that's fine.
8. Middle, I'd give it 10.
So 22 so far.
And then the ending, I'd give it 9.
31.
31, yeah, I think.
Use the system.
Should be that, yeah, 31.
Don't argue with the system.
I think this is going to be close.
Don't argue with the system.
What?
Well,
92?
Damn rotten
92?
Well,
that's wrong. That's wrong then. There's no way. This isn't the same film then.
But what does it say?
Isn't it?
What does it say?
Oh yeah, that's the woman.
Is it?
Yeah, what's she in? Is she in now?
No.
Oh, she's in Shutter Island. That's where you were from.
Maybe that's why you're getting mixed up.
Yeah, she definitely is. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that might boost it up a bit because I like Shutter Island. But
90, what was it?
92. Hang on. So that is better supposedly than The Invisible Man.
Nah, I can't see.
Rubbish.
Well, don't argue with the system. Anyway.
Terrible.
Anyway.
That ain't right. Yeah, look on IMDb, 5.9 out of 10. But I won't go into
that's more like
it's terrible. That is ridiculous. But anyway, that's film of the week for you. Yeah, that's film of the week. Obviously.
Well, philosophy of the week. Philosophy, film and literature and series of the week.
Yeah, we'll give you the films and that. Give you a bit of philosophy to think on.
Yeah, and really think about that philosophy I gave you.
Yeah.
Just think about it.
Just think about it. Maybe, if you've got any... What's your take on it? Leave a comment. What's your take on the philosophy we gave you?
I gave them.
Yeah, you gave it. All right. And then, I'll give you the films. Invisible Man. Watch that. I recommend that. Great film.
I recommend that.
Brilliant. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant. Relic. Yeah. Avoid it. Terrible. 92% is ridiculous. It's crap. Or maybe do watch it, but don't expect how good because I didn't get it. Well, anyway, I think we're about done. So
we got the
I actually do have it ready.
That's good.
Like I said, someone who never has an outro ready in a podcast. Actually, no, I don't. Oh yeah, I do. But yeah, that was episode 4. So remember to check the Twitter page out at Elbis and Elbis.
And if you listen to us, just like.
Well, subscribe and that.
Subscribe. Be the first one to wear your flags.
Before I end, alright.
Be a leader, not a follower.
Sorry for having a go at everyone and that.
Not a follower. Yeah. But follow us on Twitter, but subscribe on YouTube. That's fair enough.
Sorry for having a go at you all and that, but, just subscribe and that. Anyway, we've been Elbis and Elbis. You've been world class.
That didn't start again.